Fidel Castro so important for people in Cuba. In 1959, we had about 46% of illiteracy. Many people in rural areas didn't know not even how to read and write. And Fidel Castro, at the beginning of the revolution, he made the literacy campaign in 1961. And at the same time, we had the Bay of Pigs invasion. So he's moving forward in the terms of giving social achievements in Cuba, and in the United States, something is cooking around to send to Cuba to change what is happening at that moment. We have free education for everybody. We have free health care for everybody. So you go there, and the doctors just want to know where is the problem you have. They check you, what to do. They make many tests to know what you have. But they don't ask anything, not even a cent. And that costs money to the government. You cannot say, okay, you have free health care and nobody cares about that. The government has to pay for that. Recently, in terms of education, we built at about 33 schools in Cuba, new schools. But not only that, we have done many things in education in terms of, we made a new job in Cuba that is to study. Those young people that were in the streets doing nothing, mainly females that gave birth to children and they didn't have the possibility to study because they don't have nobody to take care of their children. He gave them the opportunity to study, and they are paid for that, just to study. They are bringing their children, in the case of girls, bringing their children to a daycare center, and they have the children there to study the whole day. That is not the idea to tell you that in Cuba everything is okay, but I can tell you that the main rights the people need, the education, healthcare, culture, sports, you have it in Cuba freely.
Welcome to the house of children, the boys and the girls.
Y en esta ocasión, en mayo de 1998, nació la necesidad de una casa para los niños y las niñas y que no jugaran en la calle.
And then in May 98, they felt they needed a house for boys and girls, children, so they stopped playing in the middle of the street.
Un espacio dedicado exclusivamente a la niñez.
A space just for children.
Donde enseñamos a los niños a conocer sus derechos.
We teach them to know their rights.
Ellos tienen una profesora del Ministerio de Justicia, comité de centro de referencia, donde le dan
sus
derechos.
A teacher who comes from the Ministry of Justice.
Y lo conocen muy bien y saben defenderlo.
And then they know very well how to defend children.
Además de que tienen otras posibilidades como es la familia como medio de que es el primer lugar donde tienen que educarse.
They have, of course, the influence of the family. Just the first, consider the first place for their education.
El Código de la Niñez, que está establecido por nuestro Estado cubano, donde es la defensa de los niños y de la familia.
Code. We have a kind of system of rules for youth and childhood to defend their rights and all this.
Y así comenzamos este proyecto, con todos los amigos de la comunidad que
That's
voluntariamente
the way
vienen.
we began this project, with all the help of the community, all the friends in the community.
Y nos auspició UNICEF en cuanto a los recursos.
And it was UNICEF sponsoring the project.
El gobierno nos dio el local.
The government gave us the place, this room.
Y además, antes de las necesidades del barrio de vivienda, pues ellos dispusieron de este local para los niños, donde se imparten talleres de danza, teatro, música, guitarra.
Here they develop workshops of theater, teatro, guitar,
música,
music,
danza,
dancing,
periodismo,
journalism,
costura,
sewing,
y pintura.
and painting.
Y el señor Kofi Annan, secretario de las Naciones Unidas,
Kofi Annan, the General Secretary of the United Nations,
que su esposa nos visitó, bailó con los niños
his
acá.
wife came to visit here and dance with the children.
Plantea que solo con la voluntad del gobierno se pueden hacer estas cosas
And she said, just with the will of the government, you can achieve these things.
Y gracias a nuestro gobierno, pues nos da la posibilidad que cada día hagamos algo más en favor de la niña.
Then is our government, we have to be grateful because of this. Okay, she's her teacher since they were in the first grade of primary school, and she's a kind of teacher we call emergency. Is it? We need teachers, and then we organize a kind of course, and then we train them, and then they begin to work, and they keep on studying.
That's what I mentioned to you, that we emphasized in creating a new job that was to study. Those teenagers, young people that were in their houses and they were doing nothing, so they have the opportunity to become social workers, and in her case, she became a teacher, and she has to continue studying and studying till she reaches more graduated from university or something.
That's our reality, our Cuban reality, the children.
Nuestra tranquilidad,
our quietness.
Le damos la bienvenida y
We
queremos que se
welcome you,
convierta en embajadores de la realidad
and
cubana.
we hope you will become ambassadors of our reality.
Por eso en el recorrido que ustedes van a hacer ahora,
In the visit you are going to do
van a
now,
ver estudiantes con uniforme, o
You
sea,
are going to
pantalón y saya amarilla
students with a uniform, with a
y
yellow
camisa o blusa blanca.
and white shirt or blouse, and trousers or skirts yellow.
O sea, son estudiantes de secundaria básica que están en
They
el
are
noveno grado,
secondary students of a secondary school.
que
They
están
are
optando por nuestra escuela.
trying to come to this school to specialize in art.
Ellos aquí se preparan como instructores en las especialidades
Here they are trained as art instructors.
de plástica, danza, música y
Fine
teatro.
arts, dancing, theater, and all this.
Pero a su vez
But at the same time,
reciben asignatura de las humanidades,
they study humanities,
o sea, literatura,
Literature,
español,
Spanish,
historia,
history,
cultura política,
political culture,
computación,
computers,
preparación física,
physical training,
porque
physical education.
porque cuando termina
Because when they end
salen
here,
con el título de bachiller
they
en
are
humanidades.
bachelors in humanities.
Y-
It means they are graduated from high school in
Ajá,
humanities.
y el título de instructor de arte.
And at the same
O sea, dos
time,
títulos.
art instructors. It's two titles, two certificates.
Después, una vez graduados, van a
After
trabajar
this,
en la comunidad,
they going to work at the community.
o sea, en las casas de cultura de la comunidad donde viven,
In every community in Cuba, there is a house of culture,
o en las escuelas
or
primarias,
in at the primary schools too.
pero de su comunidad, donde
But the
viven.
primary schools in the communities they live, in the neighborhood they live.
Entonces, aquí debajo está el hospital de la escuela. O sea, la
Here,
escuela cuenta
on the
con
first
servicios médicos.
floor, we have the hospital of the school.
Servicios
We have
médicos,
medical services here.
servicios de estomatología,
We have dentists,
ajá, y en el hospital existen camas para el ingreso de algún
and we have
estudiante.
beds in the hospital, so we can hospitalize the people here.
No hay problemas con,
There is no problem
con la salud de los
with
estudiantes.
the health
Se
of
le
the
hacen
students.
chequeos médicos
They are checked
todos los años
every year,
y se vacunan cuando
and
haga falta.
they are vaccines,
No hay problemas por esa parte. Y contamos con un stock de medicamentos
and we have
que cubre las necesidades que existen en la
medicines
escuela.
covering the needs.
Además
of
de
the
contar
students.
con servicios de ambulancia.
And we have an ambulance too.
O sea, no tenemos problemas por esa parte.
We don't have problems.
Pues, vamos.
Conmigo encontrar el estado que votaré para
Cecilia has.
I want you both to know how extraordinary this is. Back home in our country, these are the cultural kinds of things that are being taken out of our schools because there's not money to support this.
Sí.
Independientemente de que el pueblo cubano, o sea, nosotros no contamos con todos los recursos,
The Cuban people, we don't have the resources
sí tratamos de hacer lo máximo y lo
to do
posible
the best
porque los estudiantes
possible. So the
que
students
sacan de acá, de esta escuela,
graduating in this school
se gradúan con todos los conocimientos
with
necesarios,
all
imprescindibles,
the knowledge they need to
para
develop
llevarlo
their
a la
activities.
comunidad.
So they can take this to the community.
El objetivo del programa de instructores de arte es convertir al país, a Cuba, en el país más culto del mundo.
Yes, the purpose is to try to make Cuba the country with the highest cultural level in the world.
Esa es nuestra meta.
That's the goal.
Pero sí pretendemos eso, convertir a Cuba en un país
We
muy
would
culto.
like Cuba to become having a very high level of instruction, culture.
Well, you're well on your way, and we salute you.
Dice que están bien en camino y que los saludamos.
Bueno, muchas gracias por haber estado acá con
Thank you very
nosotros.
much for being here with us.
Cuando quieran pueden volver acá al
Whenever
centro,
you
que lo vamos a
want, you
atender
can
igual.
return here and we will take care of you in the same way.
Bien, así que muchas gracias por estar acá ustedes.
2 months ago, finally, after a year of preparing and planning and getting everything together, we had Cuba's National Children's Theater come on a tour of California. It was really hard getting them here. We planned it for months and months and months, applying for visas, and of course, in the fashion of the United States government, we didn't find out that they got their visa until about 3 days before their flight. So it was amazing. I mean, it was a really successful tour. The reason Global Exchange did with this tour was to, one, raise awareness about the accomplishments that children have been able to make in Cuba, and sort of what we call cultural diplomacy, charm diplomacy, really bringing the amazing things that Cuba's been able to accomplish to our homes and spread the inspiration. So there was that aspect to it, but also it was to raise money for to be able to bring pediatric medicine back to Cuba, because we have a health exchange program at Global Exchange. So the children started their tour. They went to a lot of Latino and immigrant communities in San Diego, and then they also did a performance on, in La Jolla, a really nice suburb of San Diego, and it was their first time ever in the United States. They started to make a lot of observations, as anyone would traveling anywhere, how much economic discrepancies there are between communities, especially communities of color and white communities at home. And as they kept traveling up north, they kept making similar observations, and really struck them how much the children in communities of color were in a similar situation at there. Here's these children living in the richest country in the world, a first world, completely developed country, and their schools 5 miles away from other communities were in horrible shape, didn't have half the amenities and privileges that some of these other kids were afforded. At one point when they were in Oakland getting ready to do a show, they said, it just really doesn't make sense for us. We have so much at home provided for us, when some of these children have nothing. We would really like to leave half of the money that we raise here and give it to some of the communities that we've visited. And that's what they did. They decided to leave half of the money that was raised to the children of California.